So we are here at Zen Resort Bali with one of my biggest mentors and a person I admire a lot, who's the mastermind behind the Zen Resort here in Bali, Mahendra Shah. He's a visionary, a thinker, an author, and just an incredible human being, incredible creator. And I would like to get some vital questions answered, some vital wisdom from him on his life and work today. So, Mahendra, you recently published a book about your life, an autobiographical novel, and I would like to know a little bit what it's based on or what it is about and why people should read it.
Thank you. The book is a record of my life. I wrote some 800 pages of my biography, and an American author, well-known author, Diana Zimmerman from Los Angeles, wrote to me and said it should be written as a biographic novel. And I asked why, and she said, you are neither Obama or Clinton, so let's make it a novel out of this, but factual novel. So everything is factual in the book, and it's basically a witness journey of my life, especially 60 years professional work around the world, in the United Nations, the World Bank, international scientific institutions, and so on. I look back at my career and realize that my parents are from India. They migrated to Kenya. So I have Indian heritage. I have African upbringing because at the age of 18 I went to England to study. So my education is from the United Kingdom. I worked in some 16 countries around the world for the United Nations, World Bank, etc. So in a way, I should be an international citizen, but the world is not ready for any international citizen. So here I am continuing my journey of 60 years forward.
Interesting. So out of your remarkable career, Zen Resort would probably be your greatest accomplishment, you'd say?
One of the great
One of the
establishments.
greatest accomplishments.
If I can briefly review my career, I started doing my research at Cambridge, my postgraduate research on the subject was systems analysis, systems theory, systems modeling, systems thinking, and systemic actions. So my thesis focused on that. And after I left Cambridge in '71, I returned to Kenya to teach at the University of Nairobi for the next 5 years. And during this time, I was at a loss, how do I apply my systems thinking? And so we worked on a series of problems like rural development in Kenya, the economic planning in Kenya, the wildlife management in Kenya, etc. And that was most satisfying in combination of teaching graduate students and undergraduates. And that was the time I realized that maybe the career I want is to be a professor, because if you're a professor, you work with young people, and that keeps you young and flourishing. So from Cambridge, out of the blue, one day I was invited, I was sitting at a conference at MIT, and a gentleman from Tbilisi, from Georgia, listened to my talk, and he invited me to visit Austria. And there I visited the International Institute for Systems Analysis, where I spent almost 17 years in two pieces, working on global ecology, food security, climate change, biodiversity, etc. And that laid the foundation of working on sustainable development for the next 4 decades, trying to make the world sustainable. I had the honor to write Agenda 21 at the Rio Earth Summit. That was one of the highlights, the summary report which was presented at the Earth Summit. I coordinated that report. And that really laid the foundation for the next 2-3 decades to work on sustainable development. In 2002, I was sitting on the beach here in Nusa Dua in Bali, and the thought came to me that the world cannot be sustainable. And I asked myself, 35 years working on sustainable development, I reached the conclusion. And I asked myself, what does that mean? And I realized that the world cannot be sustainable because human beings are not sustainable. Every problem in the world today, whether it's social, environmental, or economic, is created in this divided world of rich and poor nations. And that continues into the future. So when I realized this, I said, okay, how do you make people sustainable? So I visited and I thought, where is the good place? I thought of Hawaii. But at that time, in 2002-04, Hawaii was very Americanized. So I visited Hawaii and it didn't sound interesting because of the modern development that was taking place. So the next stop was India. That's my heritage. I should return to India and develop resorts where people can experience physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being, which is a prerequisite to logically decide that I need to live sustainably and responsibly in harmony with nature. Well, that didn't work out because I visited 64 resorts across India, from Kanyakumari in the south to Ananda, the best resort in the north of India. I was looking for a place where the first thing I wanted was, do the people offer compassion, empathy, caring? And that, sadly, I may be mistaken, but I didn't find it. And in 1981, I had visited Bali, where I was working in Indonesia, in Bogor, on a rice project. And during this visit, I experienced the humanity of the Balinese back in 81. And then I decided that Bali would be the place. So 2002, I was visiting here after the Johannesburg World Summit with my son, and we accompanied me at the conference, and then we took a holiday for 7 days where we came to Zen Resort, which was initially just a few rooms. And there I met the owner, and my son was 8-9 years old at the time. He asked the owner over a cup of coffee, do you want to sell your resort? And I said to him, shh, you do not ask such questions. And the owner said, I'm sorry, my resort is not for sale. Well, behold that in 3 years later, he called me and said the resort is for sale. And in 2005, on the eve of my birthday, my 60th birthday, I bought Zen Resort. And here I am after 20 years with more than 9,000 guests who have been here. And our focus in doing holistic well-being, including sustainability and inclusiveness, serving the local community as well as the national community here in Indonesia, was to develop a resort where we can give the experiences and people make their transformation to living sustainably. And that's happened when I got feedback from almost half the 9,000 people who have been through Zen. What is our secret? What is our advantage? Because in everything we do, we develop an innovation. For example, when we do Ayurvedic massage, authentic Ayurvedic massage as done in India, and our therapists, we have 11 therapists since 2005. They are all here still. No one ever resigned. And they've been taught by Indian doctors, Ayurvedic doctors, Spanish Ayurvedic doctors, as well as doctors from the United States. So they have really become experts. But the secret is, before the massage, we do a prayer, a Sanskrit prayer with 3 people at the back and 1 in the front. And that creates the harmony and the quantum vibrations that totally relax the guest within 3 to 5 minutes, to an extent where the guest gives up their body, mind, and soul to the therapist, and therefore the massage turns into a healing therapy. We have made tremendous progress on this, and my mission and vision going forward is to make a network of Zen resorts around the world. And we are always thinking of innovations. Do we do sound healing? Do we do visual healing? Do we do touch healing? And these are all elements. That is my next project on developing pyramids of Zen around the world. So here I am at this point, and at this age I wake up every morning with that mission in mind, because the work is incomplete that unless everyone around the world, especially the people who live modern lifestyles of materialism, greed and power, that is 20-25% of the world's population, and unless they change, they have contributed 80% of the carbon emissions because of climate change, biodiversity loss. So we need to change our lifestyles. Sadly, the rest of the world dreams of living modern lifestyles. And if that happens, I think we don't have more than the lifetime of the youth alive today to secure the future. Not only our human future, which is just one species out of millions of species that inhabit the planet Earth, which is the only planet in the universe thus far known to support life. We are searching to conquer the space, but we cannot solve the problems on Earth of going to the village and bringing development to the poorest of the poorest. That's, in a long-winded sense, is what I think.
That's your most ambitious, the mission of your life, going through this space, through Zen Resort and the philosophy behind it. And I guess to summarize it, it would be to change the world, you have to change the people. And that's what you created, the perfect sanctuary where you can change and heal people's lives so they can change the planet, save the planet, what is left of it at least.
Well, Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in others. He also said that if you could change one person and that person changes another person to live sustainably, the problems of the world disappear. So that has brought me to this point when I look at my 6 grandchildren and my children, and I wonder what future lies ahead for them. The children are the innocent ones, and my children are asking, Dad, have you done anything to give us a future? And I said I did my best, but it wasn't enough. Why wasn't it enough? Because our decision makers, be they governments, be they business. The governments are committed to self-interest. They want to be elected the day after they're elected. They start their campaign for the next election. The businesses of this world have only one goal: maximize profits. And both are counterproductive to creating a sustainable, humane world for all in harmony with nature.